And I asked her where she was from. Remember, she's Nigerian. She's not even from America. And I asked her how long she had been here. What did she say? 28 years. When she said that, I go, "Oh, you're definitely from Memphis then." She was like, "Oh, no. I don't care how long I've been here. I was born in." She's like, "We have a thing when we're like us Africans. If you were born in a completely different country, if you were born in your home country, that's where you're from. We are not from America, and we are not. I am not from Memphis. Like I said, I moved here when I was a kid, but I'm from Nigeria." I thought back to when she said that and how adamant and passionate she was about that. The arrogance in which Africans, not all of you all, I'm not saying all Africans, will come here to the America for opportunity, but then in the same breath criticize certain parts of America, in some cases the very places that you're living. The arrogance that we have when we're not even owning things, right? We don't own these lands, we don't have any real estate, we don't own these buildings, right? We have no, according to her origin isn't even from this country, yet she criticizing a state here.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
Man, welcome back to another episode of the Ruling Class Podcast. And of course, I'm your host, Diddy, back up in this witch with another video, man. Listen, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm actually out in Memphis, Tennessee right now on a conference for my job. And so I'll be having to record here on my phone. But I couldn't wait to until I got back home to talk about something that just happened last night that has been eating at me. And I'm like, Diddy, why is this bothering you so much, bro? Let it go. But I couldn't let it go. And I hope I don't see her later tonight because I feel that I'm going to mention it again. So I'm out in Memphis, Tennessee, as I told you. I'm out here on this conference, right? This is a business trip. We come to this hotel. It's called the Central Station Hotel. If you're ever in Memphis, Tennessee, easily, in my opinion, this is the best hotel. One of the best hotels I've ever stayed in my life. I may have to give you all, my room is really nasty right now, but I may have to give you all like a tour of the room once I clean it up a little bit. But this is a really dope hotel. Well, there's this bartender. I go down last night, I bring my stuff to my room, and I go down to the bar. Like, they have this dope bar set up. And so I go down to the bar, and there's this bartender, and I'm just making conversation, and I'm business casual. Most people are business casual. And so we're talking. She asked me what I like to drink, and I didn't really know what I wanted, so she recommended this really light wine. And so she brings it over to me, and she's explaining to me the type of drink that it is, and she's doing a really good job of selling the drink. And I complimented her on it. She's going to be tipped well. And so we're making conversation. I asked her where she was from and what her story was, and she's Nigerian. She's been here for, I think she said, 28 years. So she's been here for a while. And she came here when she was a kid or whatever. And so she bartends, and apparently she works at another hotel as well. All right. Well, later that we had to leave and go, I actually met the youngest African-American mayor in American history and one of the youngest mayors in American history. His name is Jalen Smith. He's located, he resonates and lives in Earl, Arkansas, which is where he was born and raised. But that was incredible, whatever. So we go to meet him. We get an escort and everything. It was pretty dope. We come back to the hotel that night, and it's like a nightcap, right? So everybody's down there, exchanging business cards, talking, drinking, just having a good time. And so I just decided to, have me, a drink or two before I call it a night. And so I go back to the bar, and I'm talking to this guy. I'm networking with this guy who's from Virginia, right? And we're talking on, just trying to figure out how we can do business together and or collaborate in some way. And the bartender comes back. She serves us a drink or whatever, and we're making conversation. Someone was telling her about the mayor. And she was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's crazy. I've never heard of him." I was like, "Yeah, he's the youngest mayor." Are you talking about the mayor of Earl? And she was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, he's the youngest African-American mayor in American history." She was like, "Yeah, like I was telling them, I've never heard of him. Like, you say he's from where?" I said, "Earl, Arkansas." And she was like, "Where's that?" And I was like, "It's 30 minutes, just like not even 30 minutes, right outside of Memphis." And she goes, "Yeah, but it's in Arkansas. Nobody goes to Arkansas." And I was like, "Oh, okay, like that's a weird thing to say." Even if it's more true for you. I was like, okay. And she was like, yeah, nobody goes to Arkansas. She was like, actually, nobody even cares about Arkansas, so that's why I've never heard of them. And I'm like, I looked at the guy that was sitting next to me from Virginia, and he was looking like she really just said that. And listen, I'm the most sarcastic person in the world. Like, I like to crack jokes, and depending on what that person's reaction is, I'll even keep it going if we both understand that I'm joking. I'm trying to read her. Like, what are you? Was that a joke? Was like, are you playing? And I was like, nobody goes to Arkansas. She was like, yeah. And she like ramps it up. She goes, yeah, like tell me one person from, like, I don't know any person from Memphis who goes to Arkansas. And I was like, she was like, nobody goes over there. She was like, in fact, we try not to. And I was like, first of all, I know a lot of people from Memphis, including family, and also people that are not family that come to Arkansas all the time. She was like, what would somebody come to Arkansas for? She said, like, just real quick, tell me the history of Arkansas. Like, what reason would a person go over there? And so it's like she's really going in on my home state, which is where I'm from. And so I'm trying not to take this personal. But the first thing I'm thinking is, isn't that like a bad strategy for you to kind of take this route when you're a bartender? Like, lady, don't you want to at least wait until we tip you before you start like aggressively, because she was aggressively criticizing a person's home state where they currently reside, where they were born and raised? No, she's going like going in hard. And I was like, okay. And she was like, yeah, like we have everything we need over here in Memphis. She was like, so please don't even compare Arkansas to Memphis. Like, let's not even get started. And so I thought back to the original conversation that I had with her earlier that day when I had first made it, when she recommended the wine, and I asked her where she was from. Remember, she's Nigerian. She's not even from America. And I asked her how long she had been here. What did she say? 28 years. When she said that, I go, oh, you're definitely from Memphis then. She was like, oh, no. I don't care how long I've been here. I was born in she was like, we have a thing when we're like us Africans. If you were born in a completely different country, if you were born in your home country, that's where you're from. We are not from America, and we are not, I am not from Memphis. Like I said, I moved here when I was a kid, but I'm from Nigeria. I thought back to when she said that and how adamant and passionate she was about that. Now here she is, a few hours later, not only trying to claim herself or represent Memphis, which is, by the way, one of the most dangerous cities in all of America, if not the most dangerous. Like, I'm pretty sure they're close in rivalry, if you will, with Chicago in the entire country. But she's not going to talk about that. And I wouldn't even talk about that, and I didn't mention that because of some of the reasonings that is. And that only makes us look bad or worse as so-called black people, even though it's the truth. Now all of a sudden she has a different tune, and she's like really going in on Arkansas. I was like, okay, so name some of the things about Memphis. What's in Memphis? And she was like, are we going there? And I was like, yeah, tell me what's in Memphis. And I know that there's way more things in Memphis than Arkansas. I agree with that initially. What I'm doing is I'm setting her up for failure. And I said, tell me some things that's in Arkansas. I mean, that's in Memphis. And she was like, well, people come here for Elvis. And I cut her off and I said, you mean the guy, and this is no disrespect to him, but the gentleman that's been deceased for how many years? And she was like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. And I'm like, yeah, because if we're doing that, right? And she goes, well, people come here for blues all the time. And I was like, well, hold on. People come to Arkansas for blues as well. Like, a lot of people think that blues was originated in Memphis when the blues was actually originated in the Delta, which is Arkansas, right? Which is, once again, not even an hour away from here, right? And so she's going in, and it's something I want to speak to. First, I want to speak to the arrogance in which black people, bro. A lot of people do this, but especially I want to speak specifically to black people, as I do a lot on this channel, because we got to start with us. The arrogance that we have to criticize a person simply because of where they're from. I remember I met this girl like a year ago, and she was like, boy, I'm from Chicago, I don't play that. What does that mean? Just because Chicago has a history and has a reputation of having a lot of hitters and sliders and criminals, really, and psychopaths, really, that don't make you a psychopath. That don't make you a killer. That don't make you a shooter. Right? It don't make you a criminal just because you're from the same place a lot of these people are from. Just because you grew up 3 blocks from where Lil Durk, King Von, and Chief Keef and all these different people, Young Chop, all these different people grew up. That don't make you a slider. That don't make you a gangster. People kill me with that. And black people, bro, we are so quick. I understood it. It makes more sense to do that in middle school. But to be more than 30 years old in this woman and to criticize a person because of the place that they're from, or I should say criticize the place that they're from simply because of where it is, it makes no sense to me. Like, where's the maturity in that, right? And the next thing I want to it's silly because a lot of times we don't own anything. Early in the night, I heard her bragging about how she used to work at this other place as a bartender, would make X amount of money a night. The arrogance that we have when we're not even owning things, right? We don't own these lands. We don't have any real estate. We don't own these buildings, right? We have no, according to her origin isn't even from this country, yet she criticizing a state here. I said, oh, remind me again, where are you from? And she said, I'm from Nigeria. I said, no. That's a country in West Africa. I'm not asking you the country because we're not talking about the country right now. What state are you from in Nigeria? She said the state which starts with the letter L. I don't remember the name of it. She was like, but as a Nigerian, as an African, when we're asked where we're from, we don't say the state like you all would here in America. We just say like the tribe that we're from or something like that so that we can identify our lineage, right? Just in case there are someone that's from that tribe or that lineage. That's how we refer. And I'm like, yeah, but the point is, the specific place that you're from, what are they popular for? She goes, Afrobeats, just like Nigeria. And I'm like, no. The country is popular for Afrobeats, not the place that you're from. That's a completely different conversation. But she tried to take credit for the surgence of Afrobeats to the specific tribe that she's from. It don't work like that. And it was just weird to me. It's like you went from not even wanting to be American to now all of a sudden claiming Memphis, which is again one of the most violent and ruthless cities in America, by the way, which I love it here as far as like the scenery. And I personally had a great time. But I know due to like family and friends that's lived here, and I've lived here before, by the way, certain parts of Memphis you don't want to go to, but she wouldn't talk about that, right? The next thing I want to talk about is just the arrogance in which Africans, not all of you all, I'm not saying all Africans, will come here to the America for opportunity, but then in the same breath criticize certain parts of America, in some cases the very places that you're living. Like, you're living 30 minutes from Arkansas. Memphis is very similar to many parts of Arkansas, including the Earl, Arkansas. That's 30 minutes away, right across the bridge. Very similar. In rural areas, disadvantaged black people, right? All these systemic problems. We're facing the same struggles. But you come here to this country, not even wanting to claim it. I just thought this was crazy to me because it really bothered me. And then she was training this poor little white girl. She was training this pretty little white girl behind the bar. And then like the white girl like jumped into the conversation, was like, wait, you're from Arkansas? Who goes there? And I looked at her and I go, you're new, aren't you? And she gave me like this deer in headlights look. And I'm like, yeah, I figured. What you're doing right now is you're trying to impress the aggressive woman who just so happened to be an aggressive black woman right now, who's the boss here and that's training you. So you're trying to assimilate and show her, hey, look, I'm cool and I definitely deserve to work here. Look what I'm doing. I'm helping you out to kind of egg on and criticize a state that this guy is from. It's like, that's crazy to me, bro. So I just want to use this video to say, be careful, man, how we speak about places, how we speak about people, how we speak about culture, how we speak about tribes, how we speak about origins. Because when you speak with that arrogance, because I looked at the guy from Virginia who was still sitting beside him, as this girl just kept going into Arkansas, I looked at him again like, and he was like, he gave me that, bro, I ain't got nothing to do with that look. I was like, what in the world is happening here? The arrogance, man. The arrogance. Hop in the comment section, man. Y'all give me y'all thoughts on what y'all think, how y'all feel about this situation. I just thought this was wild. I've never had an interaction like this before. And I asked her at the end, I said, just curious, what if I was a millionaire, right? She cut me off. I don't care what you are. I said, calm down. What if I was a millionaire and you said that? Shouldn't you at least wait until I tip you at the end to kind of, because do you think you're being rude right now? And she was like, well, first of all, if something like that gets to you, then you already losing the conversation. Second of all, I don't care if you was a millionaire or a trillionaire. I'm gonna speak my mind. Nobody goes to Arkansas. Nobody cares about Arkansas. And I'm like, people who feel and base how they think about something, and that's predicated on how other people or on how the majority think and feel about that person or that place. You're losing, right? You shouldn't feel a way about a place just because the majority do, or just because the majority does or does not feel a way about that place. You're a follower for that. Make your own opinions, right? Have your own experiences. Travel there and experience it for yourself and make your own conclusions. But basing it off what most people find popular, what most people find cool, is another problem with us as a society. That's wild to me. Stop that.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.